What's up? I'm Tyler.
And I'm Dakota.
And this is the Bourbon and Business Podcast,
where we interview successful businessmen and women to let you in on why success doesn't have a single formula to follow.
We also have a little bourbon tasting along the way, because why not?
Why not?
So guys, please enjoy this episode and let us know your thoughts at Bourbon and Business Podcast on Instagram.
Coming to you from the Bourbon and Business Studio here at the AC Hotel in Ridgeland, Mississippi. I'm Tyler.
And I'm Dakota.
And this is the Bourbon and Business Podcast. How you doing this morning or afternoon, Dakota?
It is nighttime, Tyler. And I'm doing great.
Well, I mean, you can't tell if you get up early enough. It's all the same.
If you're drinking enough bourbon, you can't tell either.
Well, that has that effect as well. Well, we're here for our year-end, almost year-end episode. I think we'll have one or two come out after this, but we're going to go ahead and do our year-ender that we do every year and kind of wrap things in a nice bow. Of course, we have Adam with us, as always.
Adam, that's Dakota.
I'm always here.
I was looking at Dakota. But
I'm here every time.
But yeah.
I'm here too, just over there.
Let's tell our listeners about the AC Hotel. Since Adam's first time on here, I want him to give his...
Hey, this is like my fourth or fifth, but okay.
His spill on the AC Hotel.
You've heard this enough. You know how to do
That's
it.
right. That's right. The AC Hotel in the township in Ridgeland is our new podcast home. So if you've never been, especially if you own a business or run an organization and you're looking for meeting space, they've got everything from meeting space for 2-3 people all the way up to the ballroom that we're in that, 50, I think the sign says over there, max. So if you're looking for meeting space, hotel rooms, especially business travel, anything like that, the AC Hotel should be on the top of your list.
And they have a bar.
And they have a great bar right
good
over there.
As well, too.
Yeah, thank you, Tyler.
Yeah, don't forget about that. Let's talk a little bit about what we're sipping on this afternoon. Dakota.
Man, I got something special for us today, boys. I've got a Midwinter Night Dram. And
Not Dream.
not Dream, Dram.
Okay.
Some people pronounce it Dram, I believe.
You drink enough, you will not drink.
Or you might dream really well.
Yeah.
You just won't remember.
It's the limited engagement from High West. It's a 98.6 proof, and it's a rye whiskey finished in port barrels. What's your take?
Well, number one, I like High West. So for those of you who do not know, High West is made out in Utah.
The West.
And the reason I know that is because I had a buddy that coached out there, and he brought me a bottle back, and that's how I started drinking it. So I like their product. And then last year, they actually had a High West tasting. It was an event we were invited to, Adam. What was it called?
Yeah,
It was a bourbon tasting.
the extra table event.
Yeah.
The Bourbon Festival, yes.
And
Shout
so-
out to Extra Table.
Yep. So they brought all their people out there and gave us a whole rundown. I don't think they had this one, though. But they gave us all their other inventory.
This is a special bottle.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not super, like you can't just go to the liquor store and get
Well,
this.
that's probably why
How
they
did we get this?
Well, you got to know somebody who knows somebody.
Snuck it across state lines and all the things?
But
Oh,
I like High West a lot. I mean, anything I've had of theirs has been phenomenal in this. I mean, even with it being a port finish, and I'm not a massive fan of those, but this,
you're also not a fan of rye.
yeah, I'm not a fan of rye either. So,
That's
but
two
this,
strikes.
I'm a fan of this. Like, it's got a good burn. And I'm gonna have to give it a 9.6.
Oh, wow.
So it's really good. I mean, and the good thing too is like we've had expensive bottles on here before, and a lot of the times you can't taste the difference in a expensive bottle and Wild Turkey. And I'm not hating on, I love Wild Turkey, and that will be my go-to any day of the week. But this is really good. So it's worth the spend for sure.
No doubt. And while you're at it, stop on by Cheers Vineyard in Gluckstadt, Mississippi. We thank Cheers for their sponsorship. And if you were looking for anything, JT can hook you up.
He can. Well, it's our year ender. Always look forward to this, kind of more laid back. Like to talk a little bit about the podcast and what we're doing. First off, we want to thank all our listeners. Obviously, we wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for you guys. I think just today I got 2 random messages on, I think it was LinkedIn. People just saying, hey, I'm enjoying the podcast. And that keeps us going. We appreciate all this, the people commenting and listening, and it's been a a wild experience. I didn't think we would make it. How many years have we been doing
Going
it?
on 3 now,
Yeah,
dude.
3.
Three. So going on
Wow.
3 years. I think when we started, I didn't have any gray hair, so now I do. So we're starting to age on the podcast.
Adam will do that to you,
Yeah, he will. So usually he's in the background typing on his computer or something.
or clicking a mouse. Or
But
Trying to earn a living. That's all.
but definitely appreciative to everybody, and I'm sure you guys, if y'all have something to say to the listeners.
We have nothing to say. You covered it.
you did a great
You
job.
did, actually. Yeah.
A
Yep.
wordsmith.
Way to be unappreciative.
Yeah, no, for real. We thank everybody, man. Tyler and I always say, and we say it every year in episode, if we can have one person be impacted by this podcast, then it was all worth it. And we've had, 10, 15, 20 people, I don't know how many, have reached out to us and are like, hey, like, you guys impacted my life. Like, I've made a career decision. I've made a different life choice. I've made a decision that I was, on the fence about for so long. But after hearing, so-and-so on your podcast talk about their experience with it, it, gave me the confidence to push forward and actually make that leap. So those are the kinds of things, those are the kinds of stories that really give this purpose, give this meaning. And that's why we're here. I mean, we're here for that. So thank you all.
And it's been a big year just for growth. 3rd year in, now we're hitting crazy numbers on social media. I know one of your favorite episodes you'll talk about in a minute has gone viral, but now we're over 2 million views on Instagram, and that continues to grow, and many other major benchmarks that we've hit this year. And so, and it's because of you guys watching, listening to each episode every week, and keeping up with us on social media. And now we're reaching audiences all over the country and really over the world now. We had our first international episode earlier this year, and more slated for 2026. So what started as a very local podcast has now grown across state lines and now across borders.
International.
That's right.
Mr. Worldwide.
Mr. Worldwide.
That's right.
Well, Dakota, let you kick this off and give our listeners your top 3 most memorable episodes from this.
Yeah, we do this every year. It's our year-end review. We pick 3 episodes that we're kind of like, man, that really stood out for a number of reasons. These aren't necessarily our favorite episodes, but they are the ones that stick out the most for specifically the conversations that have been had or the relationships that we made along the way. So my first one is actually a recent one. It's Shane's son, and that dude was cool, man. I mean, he was like a pastor turned fishing/hunting guide, and his story is incredible. His passion for what he does is incredible. He has the freedom now in this line of work to actually not have there's still a little bit of like a judgment piece on him when he tells people like, I used to be a pastor or whatever, but he doesn't have that label, that stigma that so many people carry for pastors and higher up personnel in the church, as they should. They're held to a higher standard, but at the same time is now at a place where he can just be like himself and not have, all of that on the back of his mind at all times. So he's in a great spot, and he gets to hang out outside all day, which is super cool. But his fishing trips, if you haven't gone to his website or anything, you got to go check him out. Shane's son, he is on a mission to help people reconnect with themselves and nature in what he does, and he does a fantastic job at it. So go check out that episode if you haven't seen it, and go check out his website too, because he's got some great prices and some really cool trips lined up for 2026.
Yeah, and I think the cool thing about what he's doing too is this, for him, it's not just a business, it's something to make an impact. And I think, with anything you're doing in life, whatever field you're working in, if you don't have that sense of purpose in what you're doing, it's going to be hard to be successful. And I think that he's found that. I think obviously he had a purpose when he was working in the church and what he was doing there. But now, he has a purpose, and, I think you probably could go out and hunt, fish every day, and you'd probably be fine. But having that extra purpose as well behind that is a pretty cool thing to hear, especially making a career change. Really, he retired from his first career, and then he's got something now that gives him energy. I think it's something good for all of us to look forward to too, as well, because a lot of people are early in their careers and they think, hey, what I'm doing now is going to be it forever. Well, in reality, that's usually not the reality. At some point, you're probably not going to continue to do what you're doing. And having an identity outside of work and what you're doing, I think, is always a healthy thing. And actually, our last episode touched on that as well, and he talked about that in there. So
Yeah, for
I
sure.
should point out he has trips to Alaska and other states. I don't know if we actually pointed out what all he does and where.
Yeah, he's got a ranch in Colorado that he does all of his hunts at, and they do like elk hunts there. And then he's got a house in Alaska that they go on fishing tours on, and they also go on sightseeing tours and stuff. I mean, they go whale watching and things in Alaska, which is and when you're whale watching in Alaska, it's not like, oh look, 400 yards away there's a whale. It's like, oh my gosh, it's right off the side of the boat. Like you could jump in to touch it. So it's wild up there. It's cool. Hopefully we'll get to film an episode.
Yeah, that's on the list for 2026.
I plan on catching a whale.
Okay.
Really now?
We'll edit that part out.
We'll have like a Jonah type situation and throw Adam overboard.
Oh gosh. All right. Well,
Why don't come on?
why don't you tell us about one of your most memorable?
I'm gonna have to start off with Dr. Frank Clark. Obviously,
Mr. Viral, huh?
yeah, from
Dr. Viral.
from a social media standpoint, that was odd, I guess is the best word for it.
Yeah.
We posted a clip, and
I was using my intellect to really go off about
You
something.
brought it.
Yeah.
You did.
You're talking about cartoons,
Yeah.
and somehow
He was.
it went down this crazy Instagram rabbit hole, and I mean, people just went nuts on it. I mean, we had, I think, over 2.2 million
2.2
views on it,
Yeah.
comments. I don't even know how many comments we've had on it, but it was a cool thing to see. But getting into his episode, him talking about the psychology around why we do what we do as people. I think a lot of times we think that, oh, well, this is just how I am, or this is just how that person is. But a lot of times it comes from past experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the more aware we can be of those past experiences and how they shape us, it makes us better as a person. Not saying that you're going to be able to change certain things. There's certain things that you're not going to change, but you can be aware of those things and how to deal with it. And I think he touches on that in the episode, and then he also touches on your kids. That's kind of the thing that went viral there, talking about kids and how they perceive things, and then how that plays out in their life. And I think listening to that, really the responsibility we have as parents to make sure that while we want to be successful in our careers, we also, I think the most important thing is we're successful at home, and making sure that we're providing the right environment for our kids to grow up, and then they can be successful. And I think he did a great job of talking about things in the household and raising kids.
You sound like you've been seeing Dr. Clark. You've been seeing Dr. Clark?
No, I haven't seen Dr.
Okay.
Clark, so
Well, I mean,
I think he sees kids. So
that was really
I may would qualify for it.
maturity-wise. You're right.
But great episode, great dude, and it was a lot of fun talking to him.
For sure. Adam?
I will flip to another healthcare provider, Dr. Brooks Lewis. That was episode 141. Co-founder of MS Physical Therapy, and you guys had a great conversation with Brooks on the changing face of healthcare. Obviously, founding and owning a physical therapy clinic that's now has multiple locations. He brought a lot of experience and knowledge in not only where is that going and how pain is treated, how that's changed, new things that they're doing that's really innovative, but just where healthcare is going, what receiving physical therapy will look like 3 years, 5 years from now, which will probably look a little bit different than what we're used to today. It's a really insightful episode. He had a lot of knowledge in just where healthcare is going. And you guys, especially in the second half of that episode, had a good conversation of just what that future is and what that looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was really great too at explaining the things that he struggled with early on. What his pain points, the things that he was really struggling with, what he had a hard time with, what they adapted to, and then also letting people know hey, this is a job that's going to propel you forward, not just we want to keep you here at this, lower than what you're worth salary, like a lot of owners and business owners might try to do. He was no, go get your education, go be better, go do. But take what you've learned here and use it as a stepping stone, which was really cool.
Yeah, and I think that's such a great idea too, and smart for business owners to see hey, you may have a position like that where someone's going to come in as entry level, the odds are that they're not going to stay there. So how can you train those people and then help them better themselves? And if you can create a proven track that's saying, hey, people are coming on to work here, and then they are either taking higher positions in the company if they're available. If they're not, then hey, moving them down the road somewhere else if they can do that. I mean, you create a pipeline for yourself because they see, okay, people are coming in here and they're leaving better. And I think as a company, when you're looking at your employees, if you're not making them better, if you're not making their lives better, then you really are failing them as a company and as a manager. So,
No doubt.
I mean, really, that's using people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
Yep.
Well, that leads us to number 2 of 3, right?
Be number 2.
2 for all of us. Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to go first?
Yeah. I mean, we'll go clockwise here, I guess.
That'll work,
Whatever
brother.
that
Yep.
is.
Let's just mix it all up and get real
Counterclockwise.
confused.
Another episode that stuck out to me was Dr. Patel. She was another psychologist.
A lot of
psychiatrist.
Yep.
You haven't figured out we have mental problems.
Yeah. We are fascinated with how the brain works.
We
Because
need
ours
help.
don't. So she was big on self-reflection, medicine, and healing, and how all of those 3 interact with each other along the lines of, in such a medicated society like today, and how we can be better and not as medicated in the future. And that kind of touches on where Brooks was going on like the physical side of things, and Dr. Patel goes on the mental side of things, as far as like, I think she even works with people like Brooks, like PTs and other people outside of just the brain medicine world, so to speak, in how she actually helps people go from a place to a place, not from a place and then 10 years down the road, you're looking back like, why did I spend all this money and I'm still having the exact same issues that I've been having? But I just thought it was a fascinating conversation around the actual science, the actual numbers, the actual studies that have been done on people, why they think the way they do, and how they can change that way of thinking. Her giving some actual practical examples of business owners and people that she actually sees as patients of, obviously not mentioning their names or anything, but hey, I had somebody who struggled with this one time, and so this is the process that we actually went through to help that person deal with their crippling anxiety or, their high-performing stress or whatever the case may be. But that was a cool one for me.
Well, I think you touched on a good thing too. I think they both have to go hand in hand. I think if you don't have your physical health, then it's going to be hard for your mental health to follow, and vice versa. I think that they're both equally important. And I think from just all the guests, I mean, we've had tons of guests come on, and that is one of the, the main themes we hear come up from these successful people is, one, their physical health is important to them. They're doing things. I mean, they're not out like David Goggins. I know we mentioned him on here before, but they're not out like they're not an extreme sports athlete.
Yeah.
But they are, getting up every day doing things physically to keep their health, and then also the mental side.
Yeah.
And I think to be successful, you got to do both.
No doubt.
Absolutely. Me next? Or you next?
That'd be me.
Go for it, bro.
Unless you want to get out of order here.
Nope. Let's
So-
get out of order.
My second is going to be my second episode. I'm going to have to go with most memorable for me, probably Chris Voss. I mean, for obvious reasons, it's memorable because he's,
Why is that?
he's such a high profile.
Chris Voss.
Yeah. Such a high profile guy in the business world. He's accomplished so many things. So getting him to, be on the podcast was, a big win for us. But, being able to sit down with him and just see how much of a just regular guy, down to earth person that
He was cool, dude.
I mean, it was such a cool thing,
Yeah.
just to hear his experiences, how many times do you get to talk to an FBI hostage negotiator?
Who's negotiated
Yeah.
actual hostages? Yeah.
And so he's been in some of the most high stakes situations.
Not your mom's cousin who happens to work at the FBI,
Yeah,
when it comes to career day.
Yeah. But he gets to, I never had that happen.
Apparently Dakota has. That was really personal.
But he gets to, tell us how he's able to sit down in those situations and be cool and calm. And, and why was that? Is it because his personality? No, I think it's because the amount of training and preparation he did before he got in that situation. He talked about it, it's basically like a track that he was going to go down. Hey, when I talk to this person, making himself to sound familiar to them, and they feel safe to talk to him.
Building that trust on
Correct.
the front end before you have the ask.
Yeah.
I mean, stuff that's like in his book is super
Right.
transferable.
Yeah, and it's really how if you look at your everyday relationships, how you normally talk to people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think in our culture, a lot of times or social media, we see all these sales lines that they're saying, hey, when you talk to somebody, you get them on the phone and you say these things. I think that's a bunch of garbage. I think that if you're able to actually start a relationship with somebody and them feel like, hey, they see me as a person and they're concerned about my well-being, then I think that you can get anybody into a conversation, and you may or may not take the conversation the way you want to, but I think the chances of you doing that are better. And I think you learned that from his episode.
And he had dang good bourbons too.
He did.
Oh my gosh.
Fantastic bourbons. The other thing he talked about, though, is going from being a hostage negotiator to writing a book to becoming worldwide famous. And, you know, it was just really unique to see, number one, that he jumped into a different career that's obviously totally different than what he was doing. But
At a later age.
yeah, but the same principles applied to his success. And I think that you see that, I mean, from really anybody that's successful, but it's specifically, if you go listen to his episode, he walks you through, hey, these were the principles that guided me in the FBI to be successful. They were the exact same principles that he used in his current career now. So.
For sure.
And now he's been on our podcast, and his fame has just exploded overnight. And all
he's
the
welcome.
things. That was a 2-part episode. In the first part, we talked about him, his career, everything that he's doing now. And then the second part was on his new bourbon line and the Shareholders Society. So if you haven't listened, definitely go check that out.
It's a great one.
Yep. My next on my list is another doctor, but not a medical doctor, Dr. James Barnes. That was episode 136. He is a professor at Mississippi State University, but in addition to that, he founded a program called Bricks to Clicks. A great idea and initiative that started about 13 years ago, if I remember correctly, where if you're an entrepreneur, you're thinking about becoming an entrepreneur, or if you have a brick and mortar location and you need to turn that business into something that's more digital, can be found more easily online, expand your offerings across from just where you are locally to regionally and nationally. Bricks Clicks helps, and it's a phenomenal program. A lot of it's free online or in-person courses and training and tutorials. Some of it's paid, but all of it geared towards helping small business owners be able to take what they built and be able to expand and grow as needed. It's also helped thousands of veterans, which is a really interesting part of the story. Not only just small business owners, but veterans stationed overseas in areas of combat or just wherever they may be stationed, and knowing that they can enroll, be a part of the course, take a lot of the classes, and then have that foundation as they come home and they're no longer deployed, and be able to have a really good start in either founding or building their business. And so that was a phenomenal episode, just talking about all of the people that he's helped and then what's next and what business owners and others need to know. I think you guys talked about everything from AI to a lot of block and tackle business topics that they teach on and help support a lot of entrepreneurs. So great episode. I think we learned a lot in that one. Wow.
He was fantastic dealing with taking a mom and pop shop and turning it into an online, almost e-commerce type store, which is not an easy task, because I mean you're helping people who usually, most of the time, probably have very limited or zero technological experience, and they're going, hey, help. And so he is not only taking them from brick and mortar to online, but also educating them along the way. Like, hey, this is how you operate it after we've made the switch, right? And not a switch is like 100%, but now switching, and I think he gave some statistics of where a mom and pop shop might have 100% of their sales from a brick and mortar store, and then now they're 50, like 3 years later, which is just crazy to think about how easily you can expand online because you can get in front of so many more people so quickly.
I think the cool thing about it too, like we mentioned, it's local. You know, it's here in the state. I mean, it's a great asset to the people here in Mississippi that need that type of service. And so if you are looking for some help in that area, it'd be a great place to start.
No doubt. No doubt. All right, number three. Number 3 for me is Shane Power. And this is super cool for me because it's a full circle moment. I remember watching Shane on TV, and I told him this in the interview when he played basketball for Mississippi State, and I would go out in my front yard and pretend to be Shane Power and shoot threes from the side. I was not as good as Shane, but I still tried.
That never happens when Shane shoots.
I know. I'm like, why didn't it work? I've got the jersey and everything. Why isn't this working? I tied my shoes up. I said, make me like Mike. And it just didn't work. But no, Shane was a perfect example of character, integrity, and purpose, all combined into what he does every day. His passion is helping people in their diets and Make-A-Wish. I mean, two of obviously Make-A-Wish is probably one of the most noble things you can give your life to as far as support and encouragement. But he also dives into helping create a healthier state. He lives in Arizona now, and his passion, his goal is to make healthcare and healthy foods more accessible and more affordable for people, which is just fantastic. So Shane was, like I said, a full circle moment for me, and it was just super cool to interview him. He's just the nicest guy you'll ever meet. He's also jacked because he works out a lot, and he's super tall because he plays basketball, but he's got a beautiful family, beautiful wife and kids, and dude's just crushing it, and just could not be more happy for him. Super glad we got him on the podcast, and I'm super glad I got to know him. I got his number. I've texted him before. Super awesome.
Yeah. Well, and I think, it goes
one of those like childhood moment you meet your heroes, and it was like, oh man, that was everything I thought it would be and more. So,
well, and I think it goes back to, and he touched on it in his podcast again, having a process that he sticks to, and he works it daily. The key to success is little wins every day, and sticking to that process and being committed. It is
so hard in today's world.
Yeah, but literally anything in life, it plays out the same way. If you can be committed to something and work on it and make small gains each day, you can be successful in whatever you're doing. That is the key to success. The key to success is not a form like this secret formula or this one moment of fame. You may get that's like winning the lottery, but if you can, whatever your craft is, if you can work on it every day and love what you're doing, you can be successful.
And it also depends too on, how you define success a little bit. And I think as a culture, we're kind of reframing that just a hair. It's not just the millionaire with the Ferraris anymore. It's now, hey, I have time to spend with my family. I have time to do the things that I enjoy doing while also supporting people financially and actually, contributing to society at the same time. Like, success looks different for everyone. So you first figure out what it is, and then second, be great at it. Do the small habits. Come up with the plan that you're going to need to be successful. If you're restocking paper towels and you want to be the best paper towel restocker you can, figure out what you need to do that. Figure out a plan of having them scheduled and making sure, making your rounds, making sure everything's restocked. You can literally do it, like Tyler said, in any job.
Yeah, I think you touched on another good thing there. No matter what you're doing, no matter where you consider yourself at, if you have goals, never get to the point that you feel like that, you're stuck.
Yeah.
Because, that is,
or I'm not enough.
Yeah. And here in America, you have all the opportunity in the world. You just have to choose to work at it. And, if you are doing negative things, then start doing positive things. You can literally change that right now.
Yep. Yep, for sure. And network. Never meet a stranger.
Yeah. We're going to talk about that in a minute when I talk about mine.
Go for it.
Appreciate the introduction.
Yeah,
go right ahead.
My last episode is going most memorable for me is going to go out to my buddy Mick Hunt. Mick had a lot to do with how we got Chris, Chris on the podcast. But I met Mick several years ago in Key West on an insurance trip. So if you listen, if you listen to Mick's episode, he started out in the insurance world, how he kind of became successful and got his name out there and became a kind of a coach to a point for a lot of people.
He's got a great personality for it.
But I met Mick at a bar there at the thing. We talked. Super nice guy.
At the insurance event?
Yeah, at the insurance
event.
Super nice guy. He was, giving me a lot of pointers and things. He's been in the industry longer than me, which I was very grateful for. He was like an open book. But we connected there. And Mick actually, when I met him, did not have a podcast. And so you fast forward, it was a little over a year later, Mick's got the #1 Business Podcast in the United States.
He does.
He give you any pointers for that, or
They should have.
Yeah, he has some pointers on that. But Mick gets the #1 business podcast a year later in the business field, and reach out to him. He's like, hey, man, absolutely, I'd love to come on. And then we get to hear his episode. And he gave us pointers then on really how he became successful. And really it was networking. You know,
if you meet him, it's just, he just oozes genuality.
Yeah.
I mean,
but he's the type of person, like, he really wants to help you.
yeah.
Like, it's, you know, and I think that that's important, you know, and what you'll pick up from the episode is, you know, when you are networking with people, you know, don't go at it as from a standpoint, what am I going to get out of it?
Yes.
You know, because if you do that, people are going to smell that and they're going to say, hey, I'm not have anything to do with that person because they're a vampire. They just want to come in and just take, you know, so, you know, you really do have to have a humble personality and a personality that you want to help people. And when you're networking, you know, actually do those things.
Yep.
You know? Networking is about, you know, I think you're going to get out of it as much as you put into it. And I think you hear that in Mick's episode. And then now you look at who Mick's interviewing. I mean, all that came from networking.
Yep.
You know, I think Damon John's been on his podcast. I mean,
Has he invited you?
I hadn't invited me yet. So tons of celebrities have been on his podcast, and that's all come from networking. So it's really cool. Proud of you, Mick. I'm proud of the success you've had, and thank you for spending some time with us.
My third, Anna Jane Stanley. That was episode 127. That was a fantastic episode. Anna Jane, in all honesty, just starting her career. She came on our podcast and talked about getting started even as early as just talking about networking. In college, getting stood up, working multiple jobs, really trying to find the best path for her talents and abilities, and was able to join Bellemere Development, and in a very short amount of time rise up the ranks at Bellemere, be able to take on really complex commercial development projects, and now leading many of them. Phenomenal episode about what hard work, determination, and what it takes to rise quickly within an organization. Great listen, especially for those in our audience that are just getting started in their careers or looking for a career change. If you're looking for an episode, start there. Start with that one.
Yeah.
She talked a lot about grit, which is kind of what she based a lot of her success on. There's study after study on grit and how it impacts people who are successful. And it's a lot of what Tyler talks about on like every episode, basically. And it's just, you know, you get knocked down, you get back up, you do the same thing again. Like you're making progress whether you think it or not, right? You just keep your head down, you do the work, and then you look up and you look behind you and you're like, oh man, I've come a long way in the last year or two. You know, Atomic Habits is a great thing to build off of that as well. It's a book by Dr. James Clear, I think. But Anna Jane talked a lot about just her ability to get hit with a hard problem and then say, okay, how am I going to face this? And you just kind of sit with the problem for a minute and you're like, this is a really tough problem. Not many people have been able to solve it. Not many people can solve it, but I'm going to keep working at it until I get it. And that's what grit is. It's the determination to continue to do something no matter how many times you get told no or fail.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's the difference between people that are successful and then the people that are not. Can you solve a problem? Are you a problem solver? And what does that mean? Like, does that mean you have to go out and create, like, invent something? I mean, no.
Does that mean you have to get it right every time? No.
But it means that, hey, you have the confidence to say, hey, if I'm presented with a problem, I'm confident enough that I can come up with a solution. If I cannot come up with a solution, hey, another way to solve a problem is ask somebody else, you know? And I think a lot of times, you know, we're fearful that, you know, of failure, and we say, oh, you know, I'm going to shut down. I just want to just, whatever you ask me to do, I'll do that.
Yeah.
But no, you can really create value for yourself in your work if you are the person that can be trusted with, hey, I know that person, they may not have the answer to it right now, but they're going to find the answer.
Mm-hmm.
And the cool thing about the time we live in is it's a lot easier today to find an answer to something than it was 10 years ago, even 5 years ago.
Or find the person who knows the answer.
Yeah, I mean, you can get online, Chat GPT. I mean, there are tons of ways.
You know what Chat GPT is?
Tons of ways to find answers to things that you may not necessarily be an expert in. So I would say for our listeners, if you take anything away from this year, that's a great takeaway that find a way to create value for yourself. And the way you do that is solving problems.
For sure.
And the more you do it, the more confidence you have.
Yeah, that's 100% true. 100% true.
And if you need answers, listen to this podcast.
Well, I think it's time for a bourbon break.
I think it is. So, Adam, I don't know why I'm messing y'all's name up. Dakota,
Because we look alike and all.
you want to give us
Apparently.
give us your thoughts on the bourbon?
You're welcome.
I don't have a stash.
I've always wanted to try this bourbon, so my opinion's probably a little bit higher than it might normally be because I was excited about it. I love talking about all these episodes and the memories that came with them, so that's going to impact my score as well. It's right in my flavor wheelhouse, though. It's super smooth. It's a 98.6 proof, and I love a 95 to a 105 proof. It tastes to me like you're kind of like sitting around a campfire and like you're just outside under the stars and you're just having a good time with your friends and family and just enjoying life. I get some deep cherries and a smooth caramel flavor, which is really nice because those deep cherries kind of give it a little sweet, and then the smooth caramel is a nice trail, and it's got a really rich aftertaste to me. Some bourbons sit in your mouth afterwards and you're like, ugh, like I need some crackers or something to eat with it, but this one had a really nice rich aftertaste. I'm going to go 9.75.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm going to make Tyler's math really difficult.
I know.
Well, the cool thing about the year-end episode is we can kind of do whatever we want. We're going to let Adam average them.
Oh, thank you.
He's always making fun of Tyler.
Yes.
See what he's got.
Yeah.
Well, Adam, what are your thoughts on
This is a great bottle, and much of what you just described is a lot of what's on the back here of that bottle. Really is. Even the campfire, the cold night,
How about that?
I
haven't read
verbatim.
it.
So you got it. I'm gonna give.
They really
this,
captured that in your mind.
I guess so, dude.
Yeah.
That was great.
Got the visual. I'm gonna go at least at 9.5 on this. This was a fantastic bottle.
What's that average out to?
I don't know. Well, you were at 9.6.
9.6.
Let's do 9.6. We'll land right somewhere in the middle.
It's close to 9.6.
There we go. We'll go right there.
You can't get it to the decimal point.
Sure. We'll put that on part 2 of this episode. Yep.
Well, again, to all our listeners, just thank you for listening. It's hard to keep it what year it is for 2025. We have a lot of stuff lined up for 26. Want to give a shout out to our families, for them giving us the time to break away to do this. That's important. And whatever else you guys have to say.
Yeah, man. Thank you guys for a great year. Like Tyler said, our families really make us better people, and they always hold it down while we're doing this and having fun and meeting people. So big shout out to the families there. I love that. And thank you guys to our fans. We appreciate y'all for sure. Give us a like, a rating, a follow. Reach out to us. We love hearing from you guys. If you have a question, if you want to know more about something, we're always open to a Zoom, coffee, lunch, whatever. We've all got jobs where we're allowed to do that kind of stuff. So feel free to reach out.
Yeah, and if you got any suggestions, anything you want to see us do in the new year, or things that you'd like to see happen with the podcast, feel free to let us know. We might not do them. We may think it's a terrible idea, but we may think it's a great idea.
Still waiting for you in the bikini in Mexico. So
yeah, that one's not happening.
It would be a great moment. You talk about viral.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna start meal prepping for that.
Do your thing, man.
You can close this down.
Thank you all for watching and listening to all of our episodes. Like Dakota just said, please follow us on social media. We're almost on every platform now. Please give us a rating, and just thank you for all the support, the likes, the comments, the guest suggestions, everything. Just thank you. Thank you for your support, and we are looking forward to a great 2026.
And we'll see you next week.
Hope you guys enjoyed this episode.
If you have any feedback or would like to be featured, reach out to us at Bourbon and Business Podcast at gmail.com.
Or find us on Instagram at Bourbon and Business Podcast.
Thanks again for listening.
Follow us for more content and info on the next episode.